EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present opening round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Action continues at the 7th. Has not been a stellar performance to this point, but Frank, not too bad.
When you consider 4-round events, Rich, you're going to have a period where there's a little lull. As long as you can minimize the damage over the course of 4 days, it turns out all right.
What a display of power and precision off the tee. On the green here on the par 4 in 1. So close.
Now, as they say, 300-yard drive, one shot. Miss a short one, also one shot.
That's painful. Moves into second place with that birdie. Frank, the 8th here at Wolf Creek in Mesquite, Nevada is really the signature par 3, isn't it?
I'd go so far, Rich, to say this is a great par 3. Doesn't matter where it was played. The stream that sort of comes all the way down there and surrounds the left side of the screen makes this hole really daunting. Logic would say if you're going to miss the screen, obviously you'd miss it to the right, but it's just a beautiful hole. And then you put the fact that the canyon frames the whole hole itself. It's beautiful.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. He can't believe it. Thought it was in. Nudge this one home, finish it up. Frank, a solid par right there, maintains his position. Stepping up to the shot here at the 9th, it's a par 4, 390 yards.
It is anything other than straight off the tee because of all these sort of undulations and curvature on the fairway. You'd think well bunkered, but the last bunker on the right side there, longer hitters, they can nearly fly that, just over 300 yards. Either that, shorter hitter just play to that fat area of the green. That'll be sort of some, 270 yards. That will take all the water out of play into a green that slopes back at you. So very good chance, even with a wedge in hand, to get the ball close. A good way to finish the front 9.
Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
I'll tell you, he's setting himself up for a good weekend. Former college #1 makes another birdie. Now the start of the back 9 here at Wolf Creek Golf Club in Mesquite, Nevada, or as I like to call it, Mind Blower Golf Club. Frank, everywhere you look, it's just a mind blower. I mean, this one is hard to believe.
Well, this one's also a hard hole. 472 yards off the back tee. The fairway is a little wider than what it looks off the tee because that sort of desert ridge on the right side there, that blocks part of the fairway. So if you can imagine that fairway opens up a bit, then you'll be fine. A good tee shot down here, especially with that elevation there. That sort of shorten the hole up a little bit. 270 yards. Gets you past all those bunkers on the left side. They'll take those out of play. And once again, a little bit uphill, and you can see that green, it shapes a little bit to the right. So make sure you're aware of where that flag is.
Well, that was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
No, sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
Has this to say par.
And another good par.
Frank, you surprised to see that name on top of the leaderboard?
I am surprised to see the name, but not that style of golf leading. It was great performance, especially tee to green. You don't often see people start that quickly.
EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present second round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Always some extra excitement when you get to the first major championship of the year, and here we are. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. We're at Wolf Creek Golf Club in Mesquite, Nevada for the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Partner, this is a big one.
It certainly is, Rich, and being the first major of the year, you know the players are going to be a little bit more nervous. Anticipations of a great year are going to start right here this week at Wolf Creek. And you're going to have to make all those adjustments out there. Is your game ready? Can you adjust for the changes in elevation? And do you have the confidence to go all the way and pick up the first major championship of the year?
A good birdie right there, Frank.
Oh, time to get another cup of coffee. Things are heating up.
Now to the 16th hole as we get set for the finishing stretch. And Frank, what's the best way to play this relatively short par 4?
Somehow you've got to straighten the hole up in your mind's eye, Rich. Just look all the way across that canyon and look like the hole was built straight, because really that's the way it should be played. If you start looking left and turning it into a dog leg, then all of a sudden bad things can happen. So look straight at the green. That's your line. Just try and bisect those two fairway bunkers.
Frank, you'd like to walk away with birdie here, given that it is a pretty short par 4. How do you get it done?
You're going to have something in sort of the short iron variety into this green. The green, the hardest part of it is all the undulations on this green. You realize why Wolf Creek has a slope rating of 154. So even with a short iron in hand, make sure you hit it in a precise section where that flag's located. Otherwise, you're going to have
Frank, tie atop the leaderboard now.
I think it's certainly starting to get everybody captivated.
That was a nice birdie. So 2 holes left to play. Now the final par 5 on the course, 562 yards, the 17th.
The drive looks relatively straightforward. And I say that because there's a little creek down there that obviously you have to stay short of. But that's the fun part. They want to keep you back in an area where you go, can I hit the second shot across the stream, across the water, and still keep it on the green? And the answer is, I don't know.
Frank, which way is this headed?
Well, judging by his body English, looks like it's heading a little right. There is a bit of green out there, though.
Crucial eagle attempt on the way. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Always 2 components to the long lag putt, the speed, number 1, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Racking them and stacking them right now. 6 under par for the tournament. Finishing hole here at Wolf Creek is only 307 yards. Frank, where's the trouble here?
Short and to the right of this par 4. Really, there's a multitude of options off this tee. You could hit an iron, you could hit a fairway wood. Even some might try and hit a driver, but that's a little too risky. There's too many problems up ahead if you try and take this hole on. Really, a short club off the tee, leaving yourself some area of 100, 70 yards, and you're going to be putting for birdie more often than not.
Frank, that's what you want to do. Good lag putt.
Yeah, they can't all go in.
Locked in on the read and the speed. That has to feel good. That's a birdie. Frank, right where you want to be at the midway point of a tournament.
Yeah, you know your game's solid. The focus is more on the leader and that you can just go out and play. Excellent position to be in.
EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present third round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Frank, a very short par 4 here at the 7th, but not one you're going to try to hit off the tee?
No, unless you can fly the ball sort of 300 yards on the nose and stop it within sort of 5 or 6 yards, it's really too risky. This green is not very deep, just sort of 10 or 15 yards in depth. It's just a layup hole, but layup hole it simply doesn't mean grab a club and hit it down the fairway. The best way to play it is to try and hit the ball right on the number. And what I mean by number, I mean the full shot yardage for your second shot, even if that only is a sand iron.
I mean, that is a sight to behold. What a spectacular shot we just saw on the par 4 with a drive in one. Never quite had enough oomph on that.
Yeah, sort of a wishy-washy stroke.
Now this for birdie came away with par in the previous round.
Comfortably knocks it in.
Frank, the par 3/8 really is Wolf Creek in a nutshell. It's hard and it's really pretty.
It is, and it's really long too. Just under 250 yards off that back tee. Slight bit of elevation, but you can see from the tee, obviously, where you don't want to go and where you do go. If you're a little, tender of heart, then aim for the right side and avoid all that water down the left.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Frank, this game will drive you crazy.
Yeah, you can do so many things right, and then just something so simple, completely wrong.
Simple, solid, and he'll take it.
But one that you need to make.
Finishing up this front side here at the par 4 9th, 390 yards, and what are we looking at, Frank?
Well, it looks relatively straightforward, but it's anything other than that. Decision time again. You lay it up into that wide area of the fairway. If you're a longer hitter and you are out here to have a little bit of fun, then maybe you want to take the head cover off because you get a little bit of an advantage if you can drive it over that last bunker on that right side, or at least take that out of play because you're only going to have a short pitch in here.
Good looking shot right here. Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. Not a gimme, but well within his range.
Rich, that just adds insult to injury to the rest of the field. Another birdie and the gap even wider.
And sensational performance. Start of the back 9 here at Wolf Creek Golf Club in Mesquite, Nevada. Rich Lerner for EA Sports with my partner Frank Nobilo. Frank, tell us about the 10th.
It looks intimidating off the back of this tee, Rich, and that's because the desert ridge on that right side, it sort of blocks your view and you don't see the right side of this fairway. Once you realize there's a lot more room to the right, then that tee shot becomes a little bit easier. Now also the angle of this green, you're going to see it sort of turn to the right there. So you've really got to be careful on where the flag is positioned on this green. If they put the flag back right, then obviously that's the hardest this hole's going to play. Flag sort of left of center, then this still could very much be a birdie hole.
Birdie try up next. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Just a couple of feet. In for par. Frank, that front page of the leaderboard has been looking good all week.
You're exactly right, Rich. I think our winner is certainly going to come from that list right now. I'm excited for tomorrow's final round.
EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present final round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Well, this is one of my favorite tournaments of the year. It's the EA Sports Spring Invitational, and just a stunning golf course. It's Wolf Creek in Mesquite, Nevada. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. And Frank, we're in for quite a day.
We are. We're going to see the decision-making processes of some of the fine players out there today. And the reason why I say that, Rich, is because there's so much elevation here at Wolf Creek. So you're going to have to make those adjustments on the downhill and the uphill. Club selection decisions. And, of course, the one that does that the best is more than likely the one that's going to come out on top. Surely not.
Par yesterday, now for birdie.
Given the situation, Rich, things so tight at the top. Very, very good birdie.
That was huge right there. Still with a great chance to come away with this title.
Second shot.
Can't hide the flagstick from that man. And this will be a 5-foot putt here. Solid par. Frank, the par 5 12th is another case of a hole where you see that Wolf Creek Golf Club can actually be kind of scary, daunting. You look out at the desert mountains, and then you add in some water, which we have here on the left, and you can go for some big numbers here if you're not careful.
Well, this is where the Wolf and the Creek can take a bite out of you. You hit it left off the tee, then you're certainly going to start to rack up a number. There's enough fairway down the right, but once again, if you hit a good drive and this hole is reachable for you, then you've got to worry about the water, which is to the right of this green. 5 wouldn't be the worst score you could make around here, that's for sure. I've seen 6s and 7s.
Well, that's what the great ones do. From the rough, they use their skill and their strength to get it out and get it close. Wow, I thought he made that. Frank, you had to make a run at that one.
Oh, yeah, good effort. Let's see if he can make it. But Oda put an eagle on the scorecard, what that would have meant to him.
Racking them and stacking them. That's 12 under par now for the tournament. 13th hole, and Frank, Wolf Creek is really kind of a macho golf course because you can stand on a tee like this and say, you know what? I'm going to take this one over the mountains.
And then, if you do, then you flip the coin. Is it in play or is it out of play? This is one hole. You just you realize you're in the middle of the desert, that's for sure. And one hole that you think, well, if I play this hole a couple of times, I might just get the hang of it.
Too bad, misses the putt and an opportunity. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. He's made it. 14th hole here at Wolf Creek. Time to pull out the driver and as well the phone because you want to take some pictures here. What a spectacular view.
Stunning. You can see a whole panoramic sort of 360 degrees right around this golf course. Then when you flick back and actually look at the 14th hole, there's 6 bunkers, 3 really in play with the tee shot, as you can see, the other 3 just up by the green. Anything to the right of those is preferred, unless you want to be playing your second shot out of the canyon or the bunkers. Green should be fairly receptive, and 3 distinct portions, which is sort of a common trait here at Wolf Creek. That's sort of 3 different tier levels in that. But let's see, birdies that have been made at Wolf Creek, maybe even one here.
Midway through this back 9, could use this birdie here at the 14th. Only that's short. Wow. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either.
Really, Rich, right now it's just a case of running out of holes. Pars are fine.
Here at the 15th hole here at Wolf Creek, bit of a breather here. Nice, short par 3. You don't want to miss this green.
No, that's the temptation there. If you try and bite off a little too much because it looks a little too easy, then a bogey here, and you're in a bad mood all of a sudden at Wolf Creek.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. This one just requires a little bit of focus. He'd settle for par here. Nudge this one home, finish it up. Did the job right there. Now to the 16th hole as we get set for the finishing stretch. And Frank, what's the best way to play this relatively short par 4?
Somehow you've got to straighten the hole up in your mind's eye, Rich. Just look all the way across that canyon and look like the hole was built straight, because really that's the way it should be played. If you start looking left and turning it into a dog leg, then all of a sudden bad things can happen. So look straight at the green. That's your line. Just try and bisect those 2 fairway bunkers.
Well, those are good numbers right there. 320, 320 yards. Just crushed it in the fairway. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special. Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
On the green in regulation. Made par yesterday. This one for birdie. Everybody loves them. Birdie on the card. Frank, you licking your chops here at the par 5, 17th hole?
Oh, why not? A chance to reach a par 5 and 2, but there's still pitfalls in front of you. A little creek or stream runs across the fairway, so really limiting the distance you can hit that tee shot, but it's still reachable from just short of that creek. Find trouble off the tee, then obviously you turn it into a 3-shotter, but a good tee shot, and it's too tempting to resist not going for this green.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are, because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
And from the rough, he manages to not only make the green, but get within easy striking distance of the hole. Shouldn't be a problem here. Oh, I thought he had that. Oh, man.
He just pushed it.
Oh, that hurts. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Now the closing hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, what's ahead of us?
You could try and drive at this green, but there's too much trouble, really, Rich. Even though this hole's just over 300 yards, it's very ambitious to try and drive it across that water. Some might try. Most people try and hit a tee shot 240, 250 yard mark, and of course, you do the math, you're only going to have 60 or 70 yards in, and well, they want you to finish on a good note. So good drive in the fairway here, or 3-wood, pitch it on the green, make a 3, and buy your friends a drink in the clubhouse.
Pretty good putt, Frank. Just didn't quite read it correctly.
Yeah, would have certainly liked that to go in.
This for the victory at the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie. And what a day it's been. And that wraps up the final round. Just a great performance by our champion.
This one will have to go down in the books as an absolute classic. Fantastic play, not only the course today, but all week long.